A mailman opens a neighborhood mailbox only to freeze in shock. Inside lies a tiny puppy, wrapped in duct tape, trembling, barely breathing, and clutching a crumpled note between its paws. When he reads what's written on it, his knees nearly buckle. Because the truth behind that note changes everything. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Tom had been delivering mail on this road for nearly 12 years, and nothing ever truly surprised him anymore, or so he thought. That morning, the neighborhood felt unusually quiet, the kind of eerie stillness that made even the birds seem hesitant to sing. As he approached the blue mailbox on the corner house, he paused. The red flag was raised. Strange, the homeowners had been out of town for over a week, and no one else ever touched their mail. Curious, Tom unlocked the box and pulled the door open. The sight inside made his breath hitch. A tiny white puppy lay curled against the metal, its body wrapped tightly in layers of silver duct tape. Its eyes were closed, its breathing shallow, and it trembled with the faintest whimper, as if it had cried itself out. Tom's hands shook as he reached in. Then he noticed something else, a crumpled note wedged beneath the puppy's paw. He grabbed it instinctively but didn't dare unfold it yet. Not while the puppy's life hung in the balance. Without another second of hesitation, he scooped the trembling little creature into his arms and sprinted toward his truck. Tom didn't waste a second. He slammed the truck door shut and sped toward the nearest animal shelter, his heart pounding harder with every tiny, fragile breath the puppy took. The little creature lay limp in his arms, its fur cold, its eyes barely open. Tom kept whispering, "Hang in there, buddy. Just a little longer," even though he wasn't sure the puppy could hear him at all. The moment he burst through the shelter doors, the staff rushed over. A vet named Dr. Lane gently lifted the puppy away, her expression tightening as she peeled back the duct tape. "Dehydrated, exhausted, terrified," she murmured, "but no broken bones." Relief washed over Tom, but only briefly, because now it was time to face the note. Tom unfolded the crumpled paper slowly, as if afraid the words might somehow hurt the puppy further. The handwriting was uneven, shaky, clearly written in a hurry. The message was short, almost too short, and yet somehow heavy with emotion. It didn't explain what happened. It didn't explain who wrote it. It only hinted at danger. And guilt. And a secret someone was desperately trying to hide. The shelter staff gathered around Tom as he reread the strange note for the third time. It wasn't long, but every sentence felt like a puzzle piece that refused to fit anywhere. Dr. Lane crossed her arms thoughtfully. "Someone didn't just abandon him," she said quietly. "They were scared. This feels desperate." Tom nodded. "And whoever wrote it didn't want to be seen?" That suggestion triggered the shelter manager to check neighborhood security footage. Minutes later, a grainy clip appeared on the screen, a hooded figure, small in stature, walking quickly along the sidewalk at nearly midnight. They paused at the mailbox, looked over both shoulders, and tucked something inside before slipping into the shadows. "Could be a teenager," someone whispered. Tom felt a chill. He remembered the trembling handwriting and the rushed strokes. Whoever wrote the note was terrified of something or someone. Later that afternoon, Tom canvassed the area, knocking on doors and asking neighbors if they'd seen anything unusual. Most shook their heads. But one elderly woman paused, thinking deeply. "A few days ago," she said softly, "I saw a young girl sitting alone on the curb." She looked frightened, like she didn't know where to go. That single comment tightened the knot of worry forming in Tom's chest. Back at the shelter, Tom returned just as Dr. Lane finished cleaning the last bits of adhesive from the puppy's fur. That was when she noticed something small and tangled near the puppy's side. She gently untwisted the strands, revealing a thin, torn bracelet made of colorful beads. It looked handmade, the kind a child or teenager would craft. This didn't slip on accidentally, Dr. Lane said, examining it closely. "Someone placed it here intentionally." Tom felt a flicker of recognition. He had seen a bracelet just like this months earlier, bright beads, uneven knots, and a tiny metal charm shaped like a star. It had been on the wrist of a teenage girl he used to deliver mail to. She'd always wave shyly from the porch, usually with this same puppy much smaller back than nestled in her lap, but that family had moved abruptly. No forwarding address? No explanations. Just gone. Rumors had floated afterward, arguments heard at night, the girl's sudden absence from school, and neighbors whispering about trouble inside the home. Tom stared at the bracelet. A sinking feeling growing inside his chest. Was this puppy not just abandoned, but sent as a message? A cry for help? A silent goodbye? The next morning, Tom received a call from the local police department. They had followed the small trail of clue security footage, the bracelet, and the oddly phrased note. One officer, Detective Harris, asked Tom to accompany them to the address where the girl used to live. Tom agreed instantly. Something in his chest told him this wasn't just about a lost puppy anymore. When they arrived, the house looked worn and tired, curtains drawn tight as if trying to hide whatever memories lived inside. A woman answered the door, eyes red, hair unkempt, voice trembling the moment she recognized the bracelet in Tom's hand. That's my daughter's," she whispered, touching it with shaking fingers. The officer stepped forward gently. "Ma'am, we need to know what happened." The woman's composure crumbled. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she confessed that her daughter had run away only a week earlier. She had been trying to escape the girl's increasingly violent father. The puppy had been the girl's comfort during nights filled with shouting, slamming doors, and fear no child should ever have to endure, she told me. If anything happened to her, someone needed to protect him, the mother choked out. She loved that puppy more than anything. The pieces were falling into place, yet something crucial was still missing. The note hinted at danger beyond an ordinary runaway, and Tom knew they were standing at the edge of a truth far heavier than anyone wanted to imagine. 2 days later, the call finally came. Detective Harris informed Tom that the girl had been found in a nearby town, exhausted, shaken, but alive. Tom drove straight to the small community center where she was being cared for. When he walked in, she looked smaller than he remembered, curled up on a chair with her knees pulled to her chest. But the moment she saw the bracelet in his hand, her eyes filled with tears. Tom sat beside her gently. "Your puppy is safe," he said softly. "He's been waiting for you." Her breath hitched. "I wanted to take him with me," she whispered, voice trembling. "But if my dad saw me leave with him, he would have followed. I couldn't risk it. Not when I finally had a chance to run." She sniffed, wiping her eyes. "So I put him in your mailbox. You were the only person who ever smiled at us. I knew, I hoped, you'd find him before it was too late." Tom unfolded the note again. Now the messy handwriting made sense. "Please take care of him. He's the only piece of home I have left. I'm sorry, Dada, wasn't abandonment. It was love." And a desperate cry for safety. The reunion happened a week later, inside the same shelter where the trembling puppy had first been carried in. Tom stood beside the girl as Dr. Lane brought the little dog out. The moment the puppy saw her, he froze, then let out a tiny, desperate whine. The girl dropped to her knees instantly, arms open, tears spilling down her cheeks. He barreled into her embrace, licking her face, tail thumping wildly. It was as if every fear he'd carried, every lonely moment inside that cold mailbox, melted the second he felt her touch again. Tom watched with a lump in his throat. The shelter staff gathered too, some wiping away their own tears. After everything the girl had endured, after all the fear and uncertainty, she finally had her companion back safe, protected, and hers. When the girl stood, she handed Tom a small folded paper. "This time," she said softly, "it's not a goodbye note." He opened it and read the simple, handwritten message. "Thank you for saving the only 2 lives I had left." Tom looked up, eyes stinging, understanding exactly what she meant. Sometimes saving an animal means saving a person too.